Wow, what up, YouTube? It's your boy C for 3, man. I do this shit. And I'm about to make a video. It's been a minute. I'm gonna take some videos down. But I'm not taking this one down. I had a lot of backlash about these truth videos I'm making. So right now, I'm gonna make another one. The year almost over, so let's just hop right into it. This is the truth about Scorpio season, Kanye, Kyrie, and all the stuff we've been seeing, And RIP, first of all, RIP to all the people who've been losing their life out here in Scorpio season. Shit's deep. But the first thing we can learn right now, the truth about all this shit and why it's still Scorpio season, it's still November, from October to November. Number one thing we can learn from all of this is just this season is about death, It's about harvesting, it's about rebirth, it's about occult measures, dark themes, topics like this going on. Take the glasses off. Fucking glare. But yeah, Scorpio season is about death, rebirth, occult, dark things, hidden things, things coming to the light. And a lot of rituals being taken on, as we can see in the industry. So with this being Scorpio season, we can definitely learn a lot. I've been posting on all my media accounts that Scorpio season is going to be the season when a lot of truth come to light. And if you pay attention, you can see it. But if you lost in the matrix, you might still feel lost, So shout out to all my Scorpios. I'm a Leo, so I'm kind of what you call a square to this season. It's something that Leos can learn from, Aquarius people can learn from. It's the opposite of Taurus. But this season is really dark. It's getting cold outside, daylight savings time, things like that. The whole paradigm shift right now, along with Halloween and other things like Veterans Day that happens during this season that brings in the season of death, basically. So, and it's funny to me, I want to say, first of all, I got some notes here, so I might be looking down, So one of the first things I learned about Scorpio season this year in 2022 is how they started us off with the Jeffrey Dahmer summation. Everybody was watching that. And I didn't want to watch it because I already knew that was like a setup for a lot of death. It's going to be a lot of cases to be solved. And it was crazy because it was on Netflix. A lot of people was posting memes about it. And the subconscious thing about it, man, he killing people, man. Killing, people of color, things like that. I think he might have killed like one white person. I don't know. I didn't look into the story. I didn't watch the show. I felt like, man, why I watched that right in Scorpio season? It kind of showing us what the play is going to be for Scorpio season, right? And I think that's one of the first things that kind of let me know that it's a lot of bullshit going on this season, and we're going to have to, be detectives. Scorpio is about getting to the bottom of the truth and being, like, a little bit of detective, especially when it comes to esoteric truth, not exo. So exo deals with the outer world. Eso deals with the spiritual, the inner world that we can kind of feel more that we really can't see it, And so one of the main topics this season that we saw fucking Kanye cutting up. And I found that funny that he was doing all that. And we saw Kyrie cutting up. So first of all, I'm having to the Kyrie situation, man. Per astrology, he has a Scorpio moon. So I feel like he was definitely on stage during this season. A lot of things he's talking about. He's always been candid about things such as like the COVID shot and things like that, which leads me to believe that he's being a puppet, being used, like controlled opposition. He's a person that's being used to kind of go with what we're going with in the truther communities, but he's being used, so it's not real truth. It's like fake push truth. A lot of people think I'm going crazy because I'm saying that, but it's kind of obvious to see ever since, like, he was saying the world was flat a couple years ago, and I have no problem with it, but it's just like, it don't seem genuine, and him being a Scorpio moon is almost like, what do you have to hide? I feel like he's not really talking very deep emotional on these topics. I feel like he's just kind of pushing it out in an aggressive way. And he's an Aries sun sign, so he can really be used as an opposite this season, or like an in conjunction this season, which is pretty deep. You know what I'm saying? And he's 30 years old. I'm 30 years old, so I know for a fact he's going through a Saturn return, which just has a lot of lessons and restrictions. That's what Saturn return is usually about. So we can see Kyrie kind of right now going through like a public Saturn return, a public humiliation. He said those things. He didn't really say nothing about the Jews, actually. he tweeted a link out, and that link he tweeted led to a lot of backlash, which I felt like was a thing they did to kind of like, if we shut up Kyrie, we'll shut up people like me and you who want to speak out against the system. We'll take your money, we'll fine you, we'll take your job, things like that. So I feel like that's what he's doing right now. And he represents the generation of us waking up in this time period, because I'm 30 years old, he's 30 years old. This is the time where most people have been living through the 90s. We've been living through like the 2001 September 11 attacks, things like that. And it's a great time of awakening. And I feel like people in the higher ups, the people who run the world, the government, whatever you want to call them, the Illuminati, the Brotherhood, the Skull and Bone, whatever you want to call them, man, they know what time it is. So it's time to have a attack on us. So I think Kyrie is a perfect puppet. And I'm going to tell people, man, he's an actor, man. Like, he's a great basketball player. But when you see these people playing in movies, he had a movie called Uncle Drew, which I never seen. But when you see people playing in these movies, they're great actors. They're the type of people who will be used on Front Street. Kyrie's an actor. He's a great athlete, but he's playing his part. He's an actor. I think he has Mars and Aquarius. So per astrology, with him having Mars and Aquarius, he's real aggressive towards talking about public issues, humanitarian issues in general. He's real fixed in his mindset, fixed in his thought. So I think they kind of know his placements, know his charts, and they're using that to their advantage by making him be the NBA. I think he's the president of the NBA right now, the Players Association, or maybe the vice president. He might have got voted down since the COVID shit happened, but he's definitely being pushed in front of our eyes to push an agenda, which is crazy. Because he got suspended, and that was crazy. I just think it's all bullshit. That's just my final view on the Kyrie shit. It's just all bullshit. It's just a big smoke screen to make us focus on some Hebrews to Negroes documentary that I think we all know about slavery, so we don't have to really go too far into who we are. And, we see American history. If we go back further in history, I'm pretty sure that comes from being disenfranchised all throughout history. And on an occultic lenses, you can see the tattoos on his arm. He got like the certain things on his hands, like certain symbols and hieroglyphics, And I'm sorry I don't have no visuals for you guys. You can go look this up by yourself. Look at Kyrie tattoos. Look at the interviews he have. And it's just plain to see that it's forced, okay? And that's what we've been experiencing in Scorpio season. A lot of truths coming out, or a lot of getting down to the 30 bottom truth, So that's kind of much enough on Kyrie. I'm going to tie this all in real quick because it's been a deep Scorpio season. I've been going through my own issues, so I've been off YouTube for a minute, but I'm trying to get back started up. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Next up on the list, who we all know, is fucking Kanye West, and take advantage that both of these dudes' names start with a K. I think that's kind of odd. Funny that they're using both of these guys whose names start with a K. They got this kingship type of energy in the black community, And K is the 11th number in the alphabet, or the 11th letter in the alphabet, my bad. So Kyrie wears number 11. And if you guys are into gematria, I'm going to do some gematria breakdown soon on my channel. I'm going to start trying to incorporate that. But some of the best channels that do gematria breakdown is my guy, Call Me Kinfolk, and there's See Through the Script, and then there's bloggers like Most Hated Bloggers. So there's a lot of people who's on game right now as we're going into 2023 who can tell you the occultic truth or the hidden truth about what's really going on in the industry, so you don't give all your energy to them and start debating about Kyrie, debating about Kanye. You just messing your chakras all up. We're all over the place. They're misleading us. So back with Kanye, we already know he's trying to run for president. He's been in the media a lot with his wife, his kids, all that bullshit, But in Scorpio season, there was something different that came out, and he went on the show Drink Champs. As we already know, Drink Champs, man, they always have famous people on right before their deaths. They had DMX, they had Takeoff. That Takeoff, R.I.P. Takeoff, one of the most recent ones, and that was a setup too. And a lot of people have been breaking that shit down. It's a ritual setup, not a street setup. It's a ritual setup for like a higher being, an entity, like a demon ritual sacrifice, if you ask me. I believe in spiritual warfare, so that's how I'm coming at it. But yeah, he was on Drink Champs. And he was talking a lot of shit about the president this, anti-Semitic. I can do this at Adidas, blah, blah, blah. And to me, you know, we can look into his stuff on astrology-wise also. You know, he's a Gemini, talk a lot of stuff. You know, and Kyrie, he's an Aries. So we got these two forceful, aggressive entities they're putting in front of us, and they're using these things to their advantage. And he's a Pisces moon. Kanye is a Pisces moon, so there might be times where he comes off a little disillusioned. But at the same time, I think they're both used to put the truth in front of our face, and then they take it down and punish them. So people like me and you will be scared to speak out, or would be scared to have a voice. Allah, back to 2020 when you had to wear the mask, and it's like you're trying to talk with literally something over your face. You know, they don't want us to speak out, because if you're paying attention to astrology and where we are in the world right now, we're in the age of Aquarius, and we just left the age of Pisces when it was, I guess, time people had to have more faith because things were in a disillusion, and it was a great time for spiritual miracles in a real literal way. But right now, with us being the age of Aquarius, it's time to have the knowledge and the higher mindsets, and to figure out how to fix this thing for humanity going forward. So the future generations won't be lost in these deals, or be lost in these rituals, you know what I'm saying? Or you just won't get caught off guard, wrong place, right place, wrong time, you know, stay prayed up, get you some spiritual tools like this right here. And like I tell people, I hide it a lot, but I keep a crystal around my neck, because you never know, man. You never know. You want to have that energy next to you at all times. You know, this is a real good crystal. You know, I want to say it's selenite. Not selenite, but it's not carnelian either. Forget the name of it, but it'll come to me later. But yeah, man, you just want to stay prayed up out here, because it's time to use those higher age of Aquarius. You want to have the knowledge now. Like, we got phones we can talk to, videos, we got all these new technology, so we want to use it in a way to vibe high these days. So yeah, the astrology on Kanye. In astrology right now, we also have Mars in Gemini retrograde. So when we have retrogrades, this deals with problems from the past, and this deals with internal issues. And so the thing about problems from the past, you can see them bringing up old measures like, you know, anti-Semitic Jews, and Kyrie Irving talking about Hebrews to Negroes, like all these things. It's kind of harking back to what we've been going through in the past, and what we've been going through since Black Lives Matters and 2020 with the C-19 outbreak. So 2022 right now to end up has almost been like a blast from the past. And Scorpio season itself deals with a lot of past energy, a lot of past childhood trauma and things like that, especially if you really know your astrology. So I think Kanye and Kyrie are just the two perfect puppets to be put on the stage right now during Scorpio season, because they can really speak to a collective conscious, and people might believe them. But the thing about believing them is that it's a little misinformation in it too, because they're not telling you who they're working for. You think they're like normal, everyday people like me and you on our side, you know? And yeah, when you watch Drink Champs, just know it's a joke. It's a lot of double talk, a lot of double speak in there. You know, Kanye dropped a lot of truths about a lot of things in the industry. He even had like separate interviews after Drink Champs when he's talking about, you know, Michael Jordan killed his dad, and, you know, Dr. Dre killed his son, and even Kanye admitted that his mama was sacrificed. So I feel like either they're speaking out or they're told to speak out. And the reason why I don't think they're just speaking out on their own is because when Kanye was talking, he said something about George Floyd also being fake. It was staged. The whole thing for Black Lives Matter was being staged. And also during this season, we seen Kanye pop up with the White Lives Matter shirt, almost like a kick in the face to let us know that, you know, Black Lives Matters was a fake movement, and they could probably start another fake movement of the White Lives Matter. Now, we all know all lives matter, but when you see these divisions, it's to separate us and to keep us not able to come together on a common opinion. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's just what Kanye and Kyrie is paid to do, paid big bucks, and they're paid to support the fake media drama. So, for example, I brought up George Floyd, and RIP to these people who died, apparently died. And shout out to their families, no disrespect to nobody. This is just my truth about what's going on in the industry and the occultic truth about it, the hidden truth about it. So, Kanye talked about the George Floyd shit and he paid money to it, right? And I guess a lot of people were saying that way before Kanye said that, because a lot of people did their homework on the George Floyd situation and who he was connected to. And I always tell people, when you see celebrities come out and talk about certain deaths in the news, 9 times out of 10, it was a ritual that either benefited them or somebody next to them. Like, Hollywood is a big script, like when you watch a movie, we watching some of our favorite movies. Like, I like Friday, and I seen Friday a bunch of times. I've seen it so much, I can almost word for word. Now, it's getting to the point that these deaths in Scorpio season are scripted, and you can just tell if you look at the celebrities and the people around them. Something, if you vibe high with your energy and chakra, some will tell you that it's not all the way a genuine thing, right? So, and one of the next things I put together today was that there was this new story out during Scorpio season. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys heard it. Most people heard it. It's about Shanquella Robinson, the girl who got killed out in Cabo, Mexico with her friends. Crazy story. And, I believed it at first, like everybody else, like it was a real accident. But like 4 days later after the story came out, they showed the mom and dad on TV with no remorse. And I think that's red flag number 1. If their daughter got murdered like that, it's kind of like a George Floyd thing, right? Like, we're not seeing the start of protest. We're not seeing none of that climbing of what happened during Black Lives Matter. But during Black Lives Matter, if I'm not mistaken, that was an election year. Maybe I'm tripping, but I think it was an election year. So I think they're going to keep doing more of these ritual sacrifice killings. But in 2024, we're going to see more of the rallies, more of the protests, more of the bullshit behind it. In 2024 equals 8 if you add it up. And 8 is the 8th house that rules Scorpio. So it's going to probably be another year of systematic ritual deaths for elections, And ironically, Kanye keeps talking about a 2024 hat. But the funny thing, I know I'm kind of rambling here. I'm bringing all this Scorpio energy into one video right now. There's so many going on with celebrities. There's so many deaths going on, so many scandals. We got the Elon Musk Twitter shit. There's a lot of things dealing around death and resources right now. So with the Shanquella, the young lady who got killed out in Cabo, Mexico, I found it funny how Kyrie Irving, the guy I was talking about at first, the basketball player, he donated $65,000 to her cause. And I'm like, man, that's random. And second of all, why such an exact dollar amount? Now, one of the occultic things that you guys might not know about that whole thing with Kyrie and that situation is he's playing the same role that Kanye did when Kanye talked about he donated so much money to George Floyd. But I found it funny how this happened within the same month that all this stuff is going on with Kyrie Irving, and he donated $65,000. And he wears number 11. And if you add up $65,000, 6 plus 5, you're going to get the 11 again, So I find that funny how they're doing things based on certain numbers and stuff. And like I say, if you guys really want to look into the gematria behind it, which I have studied already, but I'm not putting it in this video for reasons, a lot of these numbers add up. A lot of these things are aligned. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. Everything has to happen according to that script, and you have to be the person to play that role for the script. So, I just found that funny, man. He donated all that money to Shanquella Robinson. And then another thing, the industry is trying to give us clues, There was another incident that happened with some football players in Virginia. Three players got shot. And I find that funny because the woman who died, Shanquella, in Cabo, Mexico, she's from Charlotte, North Carolina. And then the University of Virginia football team players that died, their campus is located in Charlottesville, Virginia. So I found out that was a real occultic play on connecting these stories during Scorpio season and all the rituals that go on at the colleges or the universities, the school of the universities according to Earth. And I was like, man, this woman's from Charlotte, that school shooting happened in Charlottesville, and like I said, you can check the numerology and the gematria out behind all these things, but I just want to let you know that Kyrie also donated to the University of Virginia shooting also. And I was like, man, from a person who got suspended from the NBA because of sharing a video, he's donating a hell of a lot of money to these causes. And I'm like, is that part of his punishment? Is he supposed to donate money to people that he doesn't know? But I think they're all connected. I think there's a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't think going on. Like there's a lot of setups. There's a lot of people, parents that can be involved involved in ritualistic practices. Like if you guys read the Bible, there's an entity in there called Baal or Baal, however you want to pronounce it. And that's the evil demonic god of child sacrifice. And it seems like a lot of these people that's dying are under 30 years old. I'm 30 years old right now, and the most of the people who made the headlines and news for dying this Scorpio season are under 30 years old. Takeoff, Aaron Carter died at 34. Shout out to him. And Shanquella Robinson died at 25, and these guys on the football team died all in their 20s. And yeah, it's just crazy, man. So hopefully this video helps shed some light on the truth behind all these issues. They're all fake. They're all phony. They're all connected for a reason. It's all ritualistic. And I don't know, man. We just got to keep watching and see what Sagittarius is about. But we have a lot of truth right now that they're showing us in Scorpio season that we shouldn't forget about, because as soon as 2023 happens, let's see who they put on the stage next for Sagittarius season. But Scorpio season, ever since Halloween came in, it definitely was a ritual for the dead. It's definitely a ritual for the dead demonic energies who want the blood and the sacrifice of this season, the harvesting of this season, which is Scorpio. It goes deep. And even if you think about a scorpion, who the season might be named after, it's a season that stings. You know what I'm saying? It hurts deep. You have to really look for the small clues in the news station, like when they use certain color schemes or they use certain words. Like I say, Drink Champs is one of the shows you should really listen to with your third eye and both your ears, because they talk a lot of double talk with Nori and the other guy that's on the show. And something always happens to these people when they go on Drink Champs. I think that's something to be aware of. And yeah, just vibe high with all this, Definitely keep looking at the news, all these rituals and things taking on. Like, make sure you don't give too much of your energy of it. Like, people already are gone. People are already signing deals to take out their friends, take out their family members, lie to us, mislead us, inform us, laugh in our faces. And yeah, like I said, I think I'm gonna start adding some gematria with some of my occultic video truths here. But just know we're living in the age of Aquarius, so you want to really have the knowledge right now. We all have phones, we got books. Just don't trust what these celebrities people give you at face value. Don't trust what you see on the news at face value, especially if these people getting killed and it makes national headlines. And like, a normal person's just like, man, the world is so bad and sad, and which it is, but the thing I don't hear people say is how evil and sinister and set up and plot structure this shit is. You know what I'm saying? It's like in English class when they had, the rise in action, like the initial setup, the rise in action, the climax, and then the fall. It's pretty much what we watching in the media all the time as they're telling us these stories and tales. And it always seems to happen to people of color too, like the tragic things, like the slayings. So I say we should put that together and realize that Scorpio season is also one of the most occultic seasons ever. And R.I.P. Young Dolph, because crazy thing about that, I won't say before I end, and we all know, you can see, I told you, Scorpio season is about uncovering certain truths about the occultic world. And young Dolph died actually like 2 days ago to this year, November 17th, in Scorpio season. And he's a Leo. Like I say, I'm a Leo. So a lot of Leos learn lessons in Scorpio season, and Aquarius people, you know. But they found out that his killer, some dude, I forgot his name, Orange Head or Orange, I don't fucking know. But they found out some dude, he was the killer, right? And his daughter was a rapper named Lotta Cash Desto, and she died a couple months ago back in Houston, the same place Takeoff died. And then we all know what happened to Whitney Houston. So it's a lot of occultic riddles in these words. You just have to connect them. But she died in Houston. Lotta Cash Desto, she died in Houston, and she was signed to Lil Uzi Vert. And I think a lot of people know how Lil Uzi get down based on his demeanor and energy that he puts out as like a sellout to the game. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that was funny how during the month that Young Dolph got killed, and during this Scorpio season, when I tell you it's about death, rebirth, transformation, and uncovering a lot of truth in the spiritual world, the dark world, I found that funny how it came out. You know, it's like a mockery that we don't know what's happening maybe. Like we might think these people are dead. We might think that people are really fighting for us like Kyrie and Kanye, or we might be thinking that, oh, it's just an accident that happened at the Virginia campus, or it's just an accident that happened with Shanquella Robinson. So if you ask me, the only accidents that happen is the shit that happened with the chosen people, the people that's not involved. If you see celebrities in it, and you see the news in it, and it's not new, they're presenting to us like it's new. So that's kind of another deep summation. Like when you watch the news, think about this is the olds. Like a lot of this shit is not breaking. This breaking news for a reason, because it's meant to break certain chakras down, certain mentalities of the righteous most high people. And we can be like, man, this is some bullshit. Why people keep getting killed and shit? But a lot of times they're behind these things just to push political agendas and to push things that make us vote and feel unsafe. You know, do your research on the it's a dialectic, Hegelian dialectic, excuse my language, but it starts with an H. Do your research on that. That's basically when they give us the problem and the solution all in one. So we always scared, but we looking for them to save us. So that's what they do, man. Basically playing both sides of the field for all my hood people. They playing both sides of the fence. So you gotta watch this game. It's a cold game. And I feel like if you was a chosen one and you was woken up during this Scorpio season, you can see all the truths. It's right there in your face. They're getting a little bold right now as we going into 2023. So definitely pay attention. I'm not gonna make this video too long. It's long enough. I had a lot of stuff to say, but Kyrie's a puppet, Kanye's a puppet, and a lot of these news media stories are rituals for the higher ups. So really look into these women that get slanged and make national headlines and documentaries. Look into these guys on football teams who get chopped up and killed all of a sudden, you know. And then I told you the main thing, I connected the names of the two cities. So it's just so much to connect. But definitely vibe high, man. Check this video out. You know, it's the occultic truth about Scorpio season. You know, Kanye, Kyrie, Shanquella Robinson, all the things that's been in the news to this day. So, you know, y'all tap in with me. I'm going to have more videos about this shit and be doing further breakdowns. But this is just the truth, man. Take it or leave it. I've been watching this shit since October. Ever since the damn Jeffrey Dahmer bullshit. You know, so vibe high, man. Vibe high. Protect yourself. Learn your chakras. Learn your birth chart. You know, listen to the Most High. Listen to the voice inside of you, the righteous voice inside of you is telling you how to move. Because sometimes you can avoid a lot of bullshit by just really being a true, genuine, spiritual person. You know, God got us. Stay prayed up out here. So, the Scorpio season over in like a couple days. So, we'll see what Sagittarius bring back. And I'll definitely break down Sag season. So, bye-bye.